Welcome to podcasts number 2, The Hacking and Basic Security. The majority of people are generally aware that hackers and malicious users can attack their systems. However, most people don't really understand the specific attacks that they are vulnerable to, much less the key signs that a hacker has infiltrated their system. Detecting hacker attacks. A malicious hacker can exploit your system vulnerabilities in a number of ways. An attack may come through one specific exploit, several different exploits at once, a misconfiguration in one of your system components, or probably a backdoor that was created during a past attack. Hackers know that a user will never download spyware willingly, so they usually piggyback it onto legitimate software such as popular web utility tools or even anti-spyware programs. A user will simply download and run software from the internet unaware that they are being spied on. Some spyware is even bundled with music CDs or shareware. A user can also be tricked into clicking a button or link that, on the surface. 10. Spyware. This is a computer software that a hacker installs on a victim's computer in order to collect sensitive information without their knowledge. The software can be installed remotely without the hacker gaining physical contact to the victim's computer. Unlike worms and viruses, spyware is not meant to transmit itself to other devices. It is a form of real-time eavesdropping that allows an intruder to manipulate others by injecting false information into an online conversation. The hacker will be able to request the parties to submit confidential information, such as bank account numbers and passwords. The conversation may be between two people or a client and a server. Financial websites are the most common targets of MITM attacks. 9. Man-in-the-middle attack. This is also abbreviated as MIM or MITM attack. It is an attack that involves a malicious hacker intercepting messages between two parties, impersonating both of them, and thus collecting the information that was being sent. The two parties will not be aware that the person who is communicating with them is an outside party. Sniffing is where a malicious hacker uses some kind of software to intercept information that is being sent or received by a particular device. An evil twin attack involves creating a Wi-Fi network that seems real but is not. Users unwittingly join the network, thus allowing the hacker to launch a man-in-the-middle attack. For example, every time a user logs into Facebook, the website issues them a cookie that proves their identity during that session. If the user is browsing the internet in a public place with free, unencrypted Wi-Fi, a hacker can use software to read, copy, and use the cookie. The hacker will be able to post messages, change the user's profile, and so on. Other types of session hijacking include sniffing and evil twin attacks. The website itself may be legitimate, but it has been hacked and manipulated. Alternatively, a hacker may replicate a well-known website and post links online or send people emails with the links. 8. Cookie theft. Cookie theft occurs when a hacker steals a cookie that a user has been given by a website. The hacker then uses the same cookie to impersonate the user for that particular session that they are logged on. That is why cookie theft is considered a form of session hijacking. In other words, you click on something that you physically see, but there is a virtual and unintended result that occurs. For example, a user can go to a website and once they are done, decide to click the X button on the top right corner to close the window. However, what they don't know is that a hacker has invisibly placed a button underneath that will trigger the download of a Trojan horse, turn on the computer's webcam, or delete the firewall rules. If a DNS server is compromised, users will simply be led wherever a hacker wants. This form of hacking is usually targeted at online banking and e-commerce sites. 7. Clickjacking. This technique is also known as user interface redressing. A hacker hides a piece of malicious coding underneath an apparently genuine button or link on a website. When an unsuspecting user clicks on the button or link, the code is activated. 6. Phishing. This is a form of phishing attack where a hacker redirects traffic intended for a particular genuine website to another, fake website. Phishing, pronounced as phishing, can be done in two ways: altering the file of the host site on a user's computer, or exploiting a vulnerability in the software of the site's DNS server. DNS servers are supposed to act as the guideposts that direct online users to the right website. The victim's contacts are unaware that the person they are sharing confidential information with is not the actual user. The hacker can even send them a Trojan program and request that they execute it on their computer, thus giving the hacker further access to more passwords and usernames. When you connect to the fake access point, the hacker will be able to grab all your data. 5. Eavesdropping and impersonation. This is a passive form of attacking where a hacker monitors a system in order to obtain information such as passwords and user accounts. The hacker then steals the user's identity and sends messages to people on the victim's email contact list. 4. Waterhole attacks. This is a technique where a hacker targets someone at the place where they are most accessible. For example, you may tend to frequent a specific coffee shop on specific dates or times and normally use the available Wi-Fi access point. A hacker may monitor your schedule, create a fake Wi-Fi access point in the coffee shop, and modify your favorite websites in order to obtain your personal information. The link may have the same name as a website that the user frequently visits, but in reality, it leads to another website that will install a Trojan into the user's system. In some instances, a hacker may send an email claiming to be from a financial institution, asking the user to provide confidential information such as bank account numbers and passwords, otherwise, their account will be revoked. 3. Phishing attacks. Phishing is a technique that takes advantage of people's inattentiveness when opening emails. A hacker sends an email that looks like it's from a legitimate source, bank or charity organization, asking the user to click on a link that will supposedly send them to an authentic website. A hacker may also launch a DOS attack on an individual instant messenger user. The user's system will be flooded with messages from multiple user accounts all created by the hacker, thus causing the system to become unstable and hang. 2. Denial of service. DOS. This is a form of attack where a hacker floods a server or website with tons of traffic requests in an attempt to bring down the server. The target server or site will be unable to handle the large volume of requests in real time, resulting in a crash. Hackers are able to perform this kind of attack by deploying zombie computers or botnets whose sole job is to send incessant request packets to the targeted system. The software then stores the information in a log file in your computer, allowing for later retrieval by the hacker. The log file may contain passwords to various accounts as well as personal email IDs. These three broad classes can be broken down into specific hacking tricks. Some of them are advanced and sophisticated techniques, while others are the conventional types that have been around for a long time. 1. Keylogging. A malicious hacker may use simple software, known as a keylogger, to record every keystroke that is typed on a computer keyboard. A syntactic attack is where a virus, worm, Trojan horse, or malware is used to penetrate and disrupt the system. One of the most common ways that this form of attack is carried out is via email. A semantic attack is where a hacker subtly approaches a target, gains their confidence, and then causes the system to generate errors or erratic results. The hacker is able to modify information and pass it off as genuine or disseminates inaccurate information. There are generally three broad forms of attacks that hackers can launch against a system. These are physical, syntactic, and semantic. A physical attack is where hackers use traditional weapons like fire or bombs to destroy data. It may also involve breaking into buildings and stealing equipment, or even rummaging through garbage cans to find valuable information, passwords, intellectual property, network diagrams, etc. Types of attacks. There are different ways that a hacker can launch an attack on a system. Systems have become even more vulnerable in recent times due to social media, cloud computing, and virtualization. The more advances we make technologically, the more complex the IT environment becomes, thus causing greater insecurity. Such modifications take place in the /etc/shadow and /etc/password files. If you are using a multi-user system, you should always watch out for any suspicious usernames or additions within the password file. A hacker will target two files, /etc/services and /etc/in.conf. These are the files that you need to keep an eye on in order to monitor any backdoors that a hacker may have opened in your system. Modification of system files contained in the /etc/ folder. A malicious hacker will usually create a new user profile that they will use to log into the system later. There are also certain worms that target UNIX systems. They make themselves at home in the /tmp folder and use it to recompile themselves. You need to look out for these signs: the addition of suspicious services to your /ets/services file. Malicious hackers often add a few extra text lines in order to open a backdoor into a UNIX system. Somebody could be accessing your system remotely. For UNIX machines, any files with suspicious names in your /tmp folder. Most malicious hackers tend to create temporary files and hide them in the /tmp folder. These files are not usually deleted, thus making it possible to detect whether hackers have penetrated a system. Sudden reports of Trojans and backdoors being detected by your antivirus. The common misconception is that malicious hackers always launch attacks in complex ways, yet the truth is that they will always take the easier route if it is available. If your system has been previously compromised, a malicious hacker will simply use a backdoor or Trojan to fully access it. In case your antivirus is giving reports of such malware yet you haven't made any recent changes to the system. But there is a possibility that the hacker will target a specific FTP service in your system that you may have exposed when online. The best action to take is to temporarily block the hacker's IP address until they stop trying to connect to your system. Your personal firewall stopping a huge number of packets from one source address. Malicious hackers normally use automated probing tools to find multiple ways of penetrating a system. If you discover that your firewall is stopping a suspiciously large number of packets originating from one address, then you could be under attack. The fact that your firewall is able to stop these attacks is great. There are also some worms that infect your system and then search for documents containing email addresses. These can then be used to spread the worm to other network users. If you detect an increase in disk activity together with folders with suspicious names, then you may have been hacked or infected with malware. Elevated levels of disk activity and unknown files in your root directory. Most malicious hackers tend to run massive scans on the computers of their targets, looking for any documents or files of value. The scans tend to increase disk activity even when the computer is in an idle state. These scans are meant to unearth passwords for websites, online payment accounts, or bank login information. A malicious hacker could be using your computer to send out spam, or a network worm could be using your system to replicate and distribute itself. However, if you are using a network cable to browse the web, then it gets a bit tricky because your outgoing and incoming traffic are usually almost the same. The guidelines below relate to machines that run either Windows operating system or Unix. For Windows OS, an unusually high level of outgoing network traffic. In case you are using ADSL or a dial-up account and you detect a suspiciously large volume of outgoing traffic, yet you aren't actively uploading anything, your system could be under attack. Remember that it is impossible to be fully certain that your system has been compromised just because your machine displays the behaviors indicated. However, if your system does show a number of these signs, then it is likely that you have been hacked. This is why it is often difficult to determine whether you have been hacked or not, especially if you are not an experienced user. If you want to learn how to be an ethical hacker, it is important that you also be able to detect if someone else has hacked your system. The information below consists of guidelines that you can use to help you detect possible hacker attacks. Thank you for tuning in to this podcast. We hope you found it informative and enjoyable. If you did, please show your support by giving us a thumbs up and don't forget to like, share, and comment below. Your feedback is important to us and helps us improve our content. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. We appreciate your continued support and look forward to bringing you more great content.